Turning now to other news we're covering on RT. France and the UK have declared a military operation against Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi's regime will start within hours. The warning comes after the UN Security Council backed a no-fly zone over Libya. RT's Paula Sleer is in the capital Tripoli with more for RT. So hello Paula, what's happening on the ground now, and when do you think we're likely to see these events unfold?
Well, in theory, this no-fly zone could go into action today, Friday. We are hearing from the French government that it will act swiftly. The British cabinet is meeting, and from both these governments, we're hearing that they're ready to take action within hours. But there are still many unknowns. Questions like you ask, when exactly will this no-fly zone begin? Who will be involved? Who will have the chain of command? And what will be the involvement of Arab countries? Both Europe and the United States have made it quite clear that they do not want this to be a solely European-American response to another Muslim country. There needs to be military assistance given from the Arab world. Now, we're just hearing reports that the Libyan airspace has been closed. I can confirm these reports. We're also hearing reports of clashes in the country's third largest city of Misrata, and we've been told that dozens of people have been injured. Several of them have already been killed. To the question of the whole no-fly zone, the UN chief, Ban Ki-moon, said that there needs to be immediate action. Realistically speaking, it seems as if this no-fly zone could only be implemented possibly tomorrow, possibly Sunday, and even as far from now as Monday. Now, the Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi has threatened, though, that if the international community intervenes, he says, to quote him, that he will retaliate immediately. Having said that, though, the mood on the ground, particularly in the city of Benghazi, the last rebel stronghold, remains defiant. When word of that resolution came through, people erupted in cheers. There were fireworks throughout the night into the early hours of this morning. People were firing AK-47s in celebration. Essentially, the rebel fighters here feel relieved, they feel recognized, and they are incredibly pleased that the international community has come to back them up. We did hear from the Gaddafi regime hours before that resolution was passed. At that stage, they threatened that they were planning a massive attack on Benghazi. Since then, and since the word of the passing of this resolution filtered through, we're hearing what seems to be a change of tactics, possibly in response to the resolution. The latest word now is that they will not attack Benghazi, but rather that the forces will encircle the city. And according to Saif al-Islam, the son of Gaddafi, soldiers will not enter Benghazi, but rather it will be only police and anti-terrorist groups. The word coming out from the Gaddafi regime that they don't want to attack the city, but they simply want to bring it back into their control.
All right, now there's been fears that imposing a no-fly zone could end in a full-scale military intervention. How real is that situation?
Well, that is definitely the concern we're hearing here on the ground. People are asking the question, what exactly does a no-fly zone mean? If you look at the resolution, it talks about all necessary measures to be taken to protect civilians. So many asking, well, what are all necessary measures? You need to remember that 5 countries did abstain, including Russia. We're also now hearing from Turkey. They are against it. The European country not to vote in favor, also to abstain, of course, was Germany. The Russian ambassador to the United Nations had this to say in terms of what are the concerns by many in the international community.
In essence, a whole range of questions raised by the Russian Federation and other Security Council members remained unanswered. Questions which were both concrete and legitimate. Questions regarding how the no-fly zone would be enforced, what the rules of engagement would be, and limits to the use of force. Provisions were introduced into the text, potentially opening the door to large-scale military intervention. Responsibility for the inevitable humanitarian consequences of the excessive use of outside force in Libya will fall fair and square on the shoulders of those who might undertake such actions. If this happens, then not only the civilian population of Libya, but also the cause of upholding peace and security throughout the whole region of North Africa and the Middle East will suffer. There's a need to avoid such destabilizing developments.
Now, a no-fly zone is the lowest common denominator, but this UN resolution also talks about protecting civilians. So again, people very concerned if a no-fly zone is not enough. What exactly will be the steps and what exactly will be the lengths that the international community will go to protect civilians? Concerns that this will lead to foreign intervention, to foot soldiers on Libyan soil. Again, we're hearing from the Gaddafi regime, to quote them, that we will not allow anyone to interfere with our affairs.
All right, RT's Paula Sleer on top of the story for us in Tripoli. Thanks.